Welcome to Noah's Groovecast, episode number 38. Today, where are we going to start today? All right, the title of this one is Best Decade. I was looking through, I had this idea to play I started writing a song this past week, and I'm in the decision-making phase of trying to decide whether I'm going to do one song per week or two songs, or one song every 2 weeks. It's a goal of mine to just push myself to write more songs and record them and actually, produce them within a certain time frame, produce them to the best level. Write, record, mix, master, and have a finished product. At least one every 2 weeks, and I might end up going. I think that's where I should start. One every 2 weeks. I think that's reasonable. If I really have one that can be done, if the songs just start coming, then I'll do one every week. All right, one every 2 weeks. So I started writing one this past week, and I just released one called "The Way I Find My Love." I released that one a week ago, and so I thought maybe I'd have one ready for this week. But overall, I'm just not a huge fan of the song. It's okay, but it needs to be developed more, and I just don't. I think I need to look for another song and put that one on the back burner. So I have two others, or I have one other one that I really like the hook, and I think I'm going to try to work with that this week and see what happens. And then I was also listening to a podcast, a language learning podcast, which I've recommended before. I'll do it again. I'm learning Mandarin. I've been learning Mandarin for 7 years, and it's not going that well. But I found a podcast, a language learning podcast for Mandarin that was called Lo-Fi Mandarin. I think Lo-Fi HSK, and it has 6 different seasons, and they're all really good. Each one is. Season 1 is the most beginner version. Season 2, the next level up, and up through 6 where it gets pretty advanced. And it's all set to lo-fi music, and it's just amazing for putting in some headphones while you exercise or do a number of different things. It's very easy to listen to. It's very meditative, and it has turned me into a fan of lo-fi music. I always kind of liked it, but I wouldn't have described myself as a fan. But coupled with learning materials, it's pretty phenomenal. And it's got me wanting to find this particular catalog of lo-fi music that they use, because it's got what Mandarin influences, or it's got traditional Chinese instrument influences in the sound, and a lot of classical piano influences as well, and it just sounds great. It puts me in a good mood. Like every single time I listen to it, mellows me out. Occasionally, I'm like, I've listened to this a lot. I start to get a little tired of it, but all right. So let me drink some of this giant smoothie. When I was listening to that podcast on my run this morning, one of the lines I learned was, it says she likes to smile. And my little sister likes to smile. That's what the language learning line was. But in Mandarin, the technical translation, I was excited because I actually could tell that they didn't tell me the exact correct translation, which means I am learning. So I was excited, and the actual direct translation of what they said was, it was like, neither me hin I, and I forget the word for smile, but it really means your little sister very loves smile, is more a direct translation, and so it's not just likes, it's like very loves, like it's very strong. And so, in other words, she loves to smile. And then then my brain ran away with that and thought, I don't know why it clicked into my brain that that could be an interesting song, but then it took me in this direction of I could write a song about she loves to smile. About I've known, or we've probably all known people, or even within ourselves. Well, I guess this is what way it went. When it says she loves to smile, I started thinking, who doesn't love to smile? Doesn't everybody love to smile? Like, I know some people don't. Maybe you have a learned condition over the course of time. You don't want to smile because the world hits you over the head when they see you smiling. Because people get jealous and they don't want you to smile and they wish they could smile or whatever. Some weird, disturbed psychological issues. But doesn't everybody fundamentally love to smile? So of course she loves to smile. But so that sentence in and of itself would indicate that you know this little sister is different, at least in the sense she loves to smile even more than most people. And so then I started thinking about, are there people? Can I think of people that just smiling is one of their main attributes, and I think I could think of some different people, or just character types in general, that part of where they find the deepest sense of themselves is just in their smile. That when maybe some people, maybe this girl that's described in this language learning lesson, she it's one of her defining attributes. That's why this person in the language learning is telling about her, that she loves to smile. It's because it kind of defines her. And when you're around her, you'll notice that in most interactions, she finds a reason to smile, and she shares that smile, and it becomes something that maybe she's known for, and so it's one of the things that blesses the people that are in her presence and that get to hang out, that spend time with her, that are her friends, that are her family. But then it can eventually maybe become something that's almost expected, or she doesn't, as a girl, the smile is so warmly and welcomely received. But as she ages, there's different kinds of expectations. But the only thing that she really knows how to do really well is to smile, and that's where she found her deepest sense of self. So she she leans on that, but it's not really enough. And then it can become over the course of time too. She goes through difficult, traumatic things, and um, but she smiles through it. And anyway, without I feel like I've dwelled on it already long enough, but the idea of the song would be that basic concept of that core identity of that she feels of loving to smile, how that can carry her through a lifetime, but how it looks different in different phases of life. So I thought about writing a song like that. I think that could be a pretty unique, interesting song. So maybe that's something to come here. Um, Otherwise, it's a song called "Ah, But We Fade Away," which is kind of depressing, but it's got a good melody. So anyway, means that since I'm not releasing a new song today, then I should be releasing a new song next Monday. All right, another update would be that this podcast, I think finally I am going to be reducing the length of it. I've been running over like to an hour or whatever, and my goal was to do 30 minutes. I think I need to keep this short, but one of the ways that I'm going to do that, of keeping it short, is I am going to be starting a new YouTube channel where some of the kinds of ideas that I was kind of going into more length here on Monday morning, I'm going to be making individual videos on these different topics under the moniker Noah Damas. When I was in high school, one of my closest friends that I felt a lot of parallel with intellectually called me Noah Damas after Nostradamus, and I always really liked that. I also am not giving it to myself, but I accept it, so it's fair. it's it's kind of an egotistical name, it feels like, but I didn't give it to myself, and so then I feel like that then I have permission to use it because it was given to me. So, but that's kind of how I feel. So is I don't exactly feel like an intellectual. I don't really regard myself as a prophet because I don't think that I can predict the future. But if there's anything that I feel more akin to, it would be a prophet. But I just don't think I actually am one. I just think about things and I have ideas, and sometimes that might lead to the ability to accurately foresee what's to come. So that's the way. It's not like I don't generally think that I'm just given uh, some kind of window, like some hologram comes to me from uh, a sky Wi-Fi, and then now all of a sudden, through like clairvoyance, I just know transmute knowledge about the future. Yeah, I don't think that that's probably real, but jury's out for me. So I stay open minded about pretty much everything. But all right. So that stuff, a lot of the topics that I was talking about in this podcast, I'm not going to talk about in this podcast anymore. This thing is going to stay pretty short, and it's almost always going to be just focused on music related stuff, or it's something within that topic or vicinity of music stuff. And that's the same for my YouTube channel. It's going to be music related stuff, whether it's product reviews or these post gig. I'm going to keep up with those post gig thoughts after every gig, doing like a 10-minute, 15-minute, something like that video. It's a sort of a breakdown of the biggest takeaways. I'm gonna be doing that after gigs every week. The following day after a gig, I'll go ahead and do that and get that uploaded. So today, so yeah, you can go to that YouTube channel, Noahdamus. That's gonna be it's Noahdamus. If you're interested in hearing me talk about different topics. Like, I'm going to talk about all of them over there. I'm going to talk about everything that I feel like I couldn't or I was anxious to talk about in other regards. I think I'm just going to talk about everything there because probably there's going to be nobody there. So then I don't have to worry about people taking things the wrong way and then trying to destroy me. So, all right, today I think I'm going to play one song for you guys. It's called Best Decade. And now this song was written primarily by me, but before my band broke up, this song was kind of our last song that to some degree was a collaborative effort. And in fact, I think I'm going to ask them if I want to, that might be the actual song that I release next Monday. It might be this one. Now, I'm going to play a recording of this song today that I recorded, but I'm thinking to try to get my band, even though one of them has moved to Houston. I think I'm going to get them to see if they won't come together just to record this song, since this was kind of our last collaborative effort and we never did record it as a band together. I think it would be good for us all to record that together. So I'm going to see if I can't pull that off. Maybe that would happen for next Monday. Maybe that'll be something that can release down the line. But I'm going to play a recording that I made of that song in this podcast today. Now, when I was on my run, one of the things that I thought about was I had some kind of truth that I felt was revealed to me on the run. I kind of hate my runs because they're physically hard, and I don't generally look forward to going on them. But at the same time, they're usually really rewarding, both from the physical standpoint, but also it's some of the best thinking that I usually do. So I'm often really excited about going on the runs, just from the standpoint of what I might learn just through that opportunity, the quality of thinking that elicits or allows. So I had this realization. I want to try to remember what it was, because if I forget it, it's useless. Right. I had a realization that I actually want to keep to myself. But it was about um, it had to do with my music and how it's received and why it is or isn't received. And I was very excited to have this realization because it's been something that's puzzled and plagued me for a long time, and it's very helpful. It was a very helpful realization. And then the follow up realization on top of that was, so if truth is revealed to you, that truth is meaningless unless you act on it. That having some kind of revelation or truth that's revealed to you is a wonderful thing, but and it can feel like an accomplishment. It can feel like that's what it felt like when it occurred to me on the run today. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm saved." Like I finally realized it. It's like my work here is done. But no, it's not. It just tells you a little more about what you need to know, and really, if you don't act on that, then it's almost as if you never realized it. And so you got to take that knowledge, that realization, and actually act on it. And then that's how you actually. It's almost like you make it to be truth because you're willing to take action with regards to it. Um, you know, uh, People are divided on Jordan Peterson, but he has had one thing that he said that about talking about how if you believe on something, like the proof that you believe in something is that your behavior reflects it. You act on those things, and that's, do you act as though you believe it? If you don't act as though you believe it, then do you really believe it? And I would say, I mean, you could potentially believe something, but your behavior might not look like it because you believe another thing even stronger. Like you might believe that this thing is true, but also believe that if you act in a way that supports that, that something else kind of bad is going to happen to you. And then you might choose not to act in what you believe is the best way out of self-preservation or fear. But fundamentally, you can't control everything, and you probably should just act the way that you think is right to act in the world. And so yeah, I had this realization, and I feel like if I don't act on it, then what was the point of realizing it? So I might share it. Should I share it? Yeah, I guess I could share it. I feel like the realization that I had is I've written these different songs, and I feel like I've put a ton of work and effort into these songs. I think I've written some very, very, very good songs, if I do say so myself. I think I've written, like for me, I've written some of what I think will be my masterpieces. I've written songs that I feel like I wrote, like they can't be done better. That's not to say that nobody can write a better song. That's just to say that that work that I set out to create, I did it. I made that work, and it's done right. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be. And so a song for me that's like that is How I Could Say Goodbye. Now, that song, there've been a number of songs when I put these songs out. I think, okay, I've done that. I've written this song. It's a really great work. It's and then you think that they'll take life. They'll fly. They'll flap their wings and they'll take flight. And then they don't, and then you're left saying, well, did I not write a good song, or why didn't it take flight? And there's probably a whole bunch of reasons. Getting a song to be publicly or popularly accepted is an entirely different thing from just writing the song. So that's part of it. But then another part is, what is the audience for whatever you're writing? And I think probably a reality of that I need to recognize within what I'm doing is that my audience isn't a general audience. And I've for so long been thinking that I'm writing for a general audience, but I don't think I am writing. Like that's the realization that I feel came to me today. I'm not writing for a general audience. I'm writing for artists themselves. And I realized that one of the ways that I went into this journey of becoming an artist is I wanted to understand what it was to be an artist. I didn't really have, I mean, I hoped I would be accepted, but I don't think it was ever really my dream to become like I don't particularly like being on stage, for example. I don't mind it, but and there was a time where I liked it more, but uh I don't generally like the attention that comes with it. I like playing the music and I like getting the message to people. I find a lot of fulfillment in that. But once I'm done playing the music, I just kind of want to go back to my room. I guess that's not uncommon among artists, but my realization today was I think my a lot of my songs are more meant for artists themselves or are meant for not as much for a general audience. They're meant for a more specific subset, and I think that really might be artists. And a lot of why I went into this is to understand it, and then I wanted to be able to teach it because um, when before I made a decision to be a musician, I was um, I felt like it was a mystery. It was a magical thing that I couldn't understand. You know, I see these rock star on the stage, and I'm like wondering what are they doing? Like people are losing their minds. It doesn't look all that crazy to me. I mean, it sounds cool, but they're just kind of standing up there, jumping around. What's actually happening that is making people lose their minds? And I I try to that's kind of why I went into it is I wanted to understand that. And I also really liked doing it, playing music myself. But I wanted to track everything as I was going through it so I could understand it intellectually. And then, yeah, I just feel like that's one of the things that I'm most interested in is helping that version of me when I was younger to be able to understand those things. And so, like the roadblocks or difficulties along the way that, I don't feel like, I mean, this may be right or wrong, but I don't feel like I had anybody to teach me those things or that could show me the way. And I didn't know who to trust or who to count on or rely on with regards to, genuinely good information and good guidance with those regards. And I feel like I had many different people over the years that played some role in that. But I didn't have like one guru that kind of like just knew all the answers. And that's not to say that I'm the one guru that knows all the answers, but I'm somebody that's tried to track as many of the answers as I can as I go through different things and try to understand them on an intellectual level and be able to relay those things. And to a certain degree, I put those difficulties into song. And so, yeah, so maybe I'm just narrowing in on who my audience is, but I think that was a realization I had is my audience is not a general audience, and so I shouldn't be focusing what I'm doing in targeting a general audience. I should try to think more about is, who specifically what I'm doing is made for, and find those people. So, all right. So that was one thing this morning, and then we're closing in on 30 minutes already. So I had one other thing that was a topic for today. I don't know if I'm gonna remember it. Let me drink some smoothie. I don't know if I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna play this song. We're gonna play Best Decade. All right, so here it goes. This is Best Decade recording I made maybe a few months ago. God's image, the only first-hand witness. It's not a competition, your love is soul food, so you so nutritious, it's true. You're 1 in a million, matter of fact more like 1 in 8 billion. And I promise you, it's more than a trope. If your heart's in tug of war, please just let go of the rope. Sick, bills are stacked up to the ceiling. On the other hand, having a roof is a good feeling. And I know all things will work out, God willing. 1, 2, we deliver 3 in the womb chilling. You think you're running out of time, already past your prime. Close your eyes and breathe in life. Now look across the sky, rest the tension in your mind. Set the past aside, feel your spirit come alive. Open your arms wide and say, it's the best decade of my life. 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 Ah, shit. COVID hit and post-hysteria. We can't get over it. Call it a bad case of the Rona blues. Airborne, spreading in the news. They all say they know just what to do, but nobody has a fucking clue. And the fear's gonna get you too. If you let the mask become a part of you. And all the talking heads floating lies. And since it's all capped, it capsized. Now we're communicating underwater, states apart from our sons and daughters. Serving kings and queens on private charters. Swiping feeds, praying for martyrs. Pop culture went so out of whack, so far, brought the Bible back. If you think you're running out of time, already past your prime, close your eyes and breathe in life. Now look across the sky, rest the tension in your mind. Set the past aside, feel your spirit come alive. Open your arms wide and say, it's the best decade of my life. 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 Wants to play again. All right, so yeah, that's best decade. All right, when I'm listening back to that, yeah, I can hear things pretty distinctly, like things about the sound that I feel need to be better. That there's a depth that's missing in the sound, and the hi-hat sounds not that great. It's too repetitive and too prominent, and too robotic. So, and then on my vocals, I feel there's there's a depth that's missing, like phoning it in a little bit. I feel. Um, so I I think that recording can be made significantly better. In the time that I was just playing that, I actually sent a message out to my bandmates, and already two of them responded that they'd be down to collaborate to bring that song to life in a recording. So hopefully the third is as well, and then we may be able to get that in motion and do something with it. So I think that's going to happen. So we're at 30, almost 31 minutes. So I think that's it for the podcast for today. Thanks for tuning in. Be back again next Monday. Going to keep these to about 30 minutes or less, and hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. My handle is at Book Noah Grove or at Noah and the Space Ark. And then, as I talked about earlier, Noah Damas is going to be a YouTube channel where I'm talking about all things that are not music related, ideas that are meant to transform the world into a better place. Enjoy your week, and see you in the next one.